Here we have the Orqa FPV race goggles. These were made in collaboration with Heads Up FPV, who is one of the best FPV racers out there. These goggles target a very niche audience as they have a lower field of view at 33 degrees. Now, that definitely comes off as pretentious to make your FOV as your company's name, but that's not the whole story. The real reason behind the smaller FOV is so that you have all the information at once, and unlike the huge field of views we have on my current goggles, the HD3s, which I think have 42 degrees, and these have 33. So on this you might have to move your eyes around too much, and on these you see a very condensed view as you see everything at once. You don't have to move your eyes too much. Okay, so these goggles have IPD and focus adjust, which really helps as on my current HD3s they don't have focus adjust, which I didn't know I was missing, but after trying these I know I've been flying blurry all this while. And looking at the OLED screens, they are a very big upgrade from the regular LCDs on my HD3s. Really no comparison between the screens of the Orqas and the Fatsharks, because the Fatsharks are really old, at least the ones I have. I don't know about the HDO2s. I have tried them, but I can't really compare them side by side right now. Looking at these two, I think looks are a personal preference and you won't see the goggles, but definitely my HD3s win because they're a custom skinned 1 out of 1 version. Weird flex. But yeah, these goggles seem like they're built well, and the one thing that really surprised me on these Orqas as first impressions, when I put them on, I saw the menus and they were like really well designed, unlike the HD3s, which really have no menu, just a few settings like contrast and brightness. Also, these Orqas can take directly 6S, which is a really big help, as to use 6S on these I have to carry this cable, which I might even use on these because you can put a 6S in your pocket and you don't have to carry all that heavy weight on your head. So, but yeah, even if you forget this cable, you put a 6S directly in, you don't have to worry about breaking it. So in Heads Up's video, he showed a simulator with a eye tracking unit, and he showed that we really just focus on the middle of our screens while racing, and we don't really look around. And while racing, if you want to look around and maybe see the corners or check your OSD, that would really affect your focus, and that could in the middle of a race really throw you off. So that's why he has chosen to use a smaller FOV. Heads Up also compares pro gaming and how they use smaller 24-inch monitors instead of giant monitors, which is definitely true. But he claims that they sit far from 24-inch monitors to get the complete action. That's where there is a little problem, because I also play a lot of FPS, CSGO to be specific, and in CSGO, if we look at the pros, we see that they indeed use 24-inch monitors, but they put them right up against their faces at almost like 8 or 10 inches away. You see the enemies bigger, and if they appear bigger, you might be able to shoot them more clearly, see them more clearly. Which same can go for FPV, as if you see a gate coming up in front of you and it's on these, it will be smaller on your screen compared to the HD3s, which for some people might be helpful, but for a lot of people I think a bigger gate would be easier, because you would see more resolution, more area. A bigger gate would take up more of your field of view, and I think people would be more confident while going through the gate. And for the OSD, in a smaller FOV, you don't have to move your eyes too much to look at the OSD. That is true, but let's be honest, while you are racing, you definitely know how many laps you can do till your battery gives up. And during a race, like during a heat, you put a new pack in and you never even look at the OSD, because finishing the 3 laps is more important than checking your battery. So I think while racing, you do not look at your OSD during an actual race, not practice. In practice, you might look at your OSD, you might need to look at your OSD. But in the end, it all comes down to personal preference. I have heard from a lot of people that they prefer a smaller screen as they see everything at once, and on a bigger screen, you have more movement, and in turn, you might get more motion blur and a lot of movement which might throw off people. And on a smaller screen, yeah, you have a very small area you have to focus in, you don't have to move your eyes, and it really comes down to personal preference. I think I would have to put a lap time in using these 2 goggles and see what I notice. But right now, I think I'm not sure. On these, you would see a bigger gate and you would be able to line it up easily. And on these, you see everything at once, so you won't lose focus while racing. I just wanted to summarize the video and say that the FOV I really don't think matters, and these goggles, just because of the screen itself, will be a very good upgrade for me from the HD3s. And it doesn't matter 33 FOV or 40. I really think that lap times will be similar. I can of course test that, and I think I might be able to test that this weekend. Yeah, a small FOV change probably won't affect you, because I honestly don't look at the OSD while racing. I have noticed that in the simulator I am distracted by the corners, so I think a big screen is definitely too big. But the range that we have right now, from like 42 to 30 degrees, you can definitely go too small. I have tried 28 degree field of view goggles, some old Boss cams, which were pretty small, but I could race them. So I really think people can get used to anything, and the small change is really for like the top 1% pilots like Heads Up, who will get that 0.01 millisecond difference, and he will notice a bigger field of view from a smaller one. As he said in the video, that when he was using the Orcas, the OG Orcas with the bigger field of view, he used to use the race view to crop it down, and he was losing resolution, hence he made these. And these are very well made. The screens looks great, and they are giving it for cheaper compared to the bigger Orcas. So I think if these are in your budget and you were considering the bigger Orcas, I think you are not losing too much with the smaller field of view. So these are still a great pickup, just because of the OLED screen, just because of the menus. You can easily check DVR, you can playback DVR, unlike the HD3s, which I have owned for 4 years and I still don't know how to playback DVR on them.